Lieutenant Jarim pressed her forehead against the cool durasteel of the observation window, heart pounding faster than the pulse drives humming behind her. Below, New Manhattan City sprawled across the island like a glittering circuit board. Come to life. Towers of shining alloy reached toward an artificial sky, their spires crowned with flickering holoads in every color of the spectrum. Between them, McGrail streamed commuters through the air, weaving in precise arcs that made the city pulse with organized chaos. To the average eyebrow-lifted human, this would look like progress. To Jarim, as to the Tsaric's dominion, there was something disquieting in the patterns she saw. Humans had always been resourceful, but their ingenuity was matched by a terrifying recklessness. Intelligence reports whispered of Project Caldera, a name so innocuous it only deepened her suspicion. Whatever it was hidden, buried, beneath layer after layer of corporate secrecy and high-level security clearances, and the Dominion wanted answers. She inhaled, drawing in the faint aroma of circuitry and disinfectant that pervaded the observation deck. In her hand, she felt the reassuring weight of her secured credentials, forged human IDs, holographic diplomas, false familial histories. Under the persona of Dr. Elena Corbett, eminent quantum engineer from the Terran Federation Institute of Advanced Studies, she had rapidly risen in Earth scientific circles. 6 days ago, she had been welcomed into Arcadia Research Complex with open arms. Tomorrow, she might be cast out, or worse, branded a traitor. A soft chime signaled an incoming transmission. Jarim masked the comlink's hiss and tuned it to her neural implant. Commander Vikren's voice cracked through, low and urgent. "Lieutenant, do you have a line on the Caldera site?" "Affirmative," she replied quietly. "I've traced its power signatures to a subterranean network beneath Old Town. There's an unmarked access shaft 3 clicks from my current location. Proceed with caution," Vikren warned. "Human security is unpredictable. If you're compromised, we lose more than data. We lose our foothold." "Understood." She deactivated the link but left her implant keyed to listen. Better to let her superiors hear nothing than everything. Minutes later, Jarim slipped out of her cover identity's plush quarters and into the tangled alleys of Old Town. The year's summer warmth still clung to the stone walls, though nightfall had brought relief. Neon signs buzzed overhead. Pre-recorded music drifted from street vendors, selling everything from lab-grown noodles to neural interface mods. She paused before a battered freight elevator tucked between 2 shuttered storefronts, its metal facade streaked with grime. A small keypad glowed at its side. Biolum glove engaged. The panel blinked green, whirred and slid open, revealing a maze of cables and circuit boards. Jarim's slender fingers, long, furless, and tipped with retractable nanite filaments, danced across the wiring. A quiet click, the door to the elevator rolled upward like the maw of some slumbering beast. 2 floors descended in near silence until the elevator rails ended at double-layered blast doors. Here, the biolum glove couldn't help. This was human engineering at its most secure. She drew a slender tool from her sleeve, a decanter of grounded grav beads that could temporarily incapacitate standard human senses. Over the lock matrix, she gently scattered the beads. Circuits dimmed, electronics drifted toward slumber. Within moments, the outer door slid open with a pneumatic sigh. Inside, the corridor stretched away under harsh white lights. Each panel gleamed as if freshly polished. Machine registers, biometric scanners, emergency shut-off valves. Jarim moved swiftly, keeping to the sides, slipping past a trio of human guards strolling down the hall. They laughed about last night's magball final, oblivious to her crouched form pressed against the wall. At the corridor's end loomed a reinforced steel door, emblazoned with a discreet plaque. Project Caldera, authorized personnel only. Her pulse quickened. She retrieved a forged ID card and held it to the scanner. The door's panel beeped. Yellow, then green, and clambered open. Fresh air rushed in, carrying the tang of ozone and an undercurrent of something metallic, like the scent of raw power. Beyond lay the heart of Arcadia's secret, a vast chamber ringed by observation windows and guarded consoles. At the center, a containment unit floated on a field of magnetically stabilized mist. Inside, an object swayed gently, an iridescent crystal the size of a human heart, its facets alive with shifting rainbows. Faint reverberations pulsed through the room, as though the crystal breathed. Jarim slipped on latex gloves. Every step felt surreal. She had seen dangerous artifacts before in her career, but nothing like this. This was more than an energy source, it was sentient. Fields of exotic particles rippled off its surface, warping the detector's readings and leaving data gaps too. Large to ignore, her neural implant translated the logs, unauthorized quantum mineral fusion experiment, illicit collaboration with off-world scavengers. Rumors said the humans had discovered remnants of an ancestor realm artifact in the wreckage of a meteor strike and had reverse-engineered it. The Dominion scholars warned of these crystals, their power to tear the fabric of space-time, to create wormholes or annihilate matter in instantaneous flash. Footsteps echoed behind her. She didn't turn. Instead, she activated her comm link. At minimal amplitude, "Commander," she whispered, "Caldera site confirmed. Entity matches ancestor crystal classification. Containment stable, but reading spiking. Abort immediately." Vikren's voice crackled back. "Extraction protocols. Neutralize and destroy. We cannot allow humans to wield such power." Jarim's breath caught. Destroy the crystal meant triggering its self-defense fail-safes. An implosion that would collapse the entire chamber. The blast would register as a catastrophic accident. Human-run reactors sometimes did that. But the data on Caldera itself would vanish forever. Was that a risk she could take? Her mind raced. Duty demanded obedience. But the crystal pulsed more intensely now, as if alive and reacting to her presence. Whatever it was dangerous. Perhaps too dangerous even for the Dominions. Protocols, duty or caution? She inhaled, raising her multi-phase disruptor. The hum of its charge filled her ears. Outside, the city lights blinked, ignorant of the fate about to be sealed in the bowels of Arcadia Research Complex. In that moment, Jarim knew the galaxy might pivot on her decision. And so, with steady resolve, she aimed at the containment field and prepared to fire. A high-pitched whine echoed through the chamber as Jarim's multi-phase disruptor hummed at full charge. The containment unit's holographic warning flickered red, fail-safe protocols activating. Outside, muffled shouts and pounding boots heralded human security racing back toward the lab. Jarim steadied her alien-engineered weapon, sight squarely on the crystal's containment field. She squeezed the trigger. A searing beam of violet-white energy lanced out, slicing through the force barrier in a single arc. The crystal shuddered, its facets splintering into restless veins of light. The lab's overhead holopanels hummed and dimmed as the residual power surge cascaded through the facility. "Security breach! All units to Sector 7B!" The tannoy barked in clipped English over the alarm. Before the protection field fully collapsed, Jarim sprinted toward the side hatch she'd scouted on her entry. Sparks danced along the bulkhead as the crystal's energy reaction accelerated into a full feedback loop. She could hear the structure groan, steel and concrete straining against an invisible force. With a final roar, the containment unit imploded inward. A blinding flash filled the chamber, followed by a concussive shockwave that knocked Jarim off her feet. She hit the floor with a jarring thud, her helmet's HUD flickering from the overload. When the light receded, the central platform lay in smoldering ruin. Shards of crystalline matter floated in the residual mist, each fragment glowing with lethal potential. Jarim kicked herself up and activated her magnetic boots. The chamber's far hatch hung ajar, warped by the implosion's pressure. She darted through just as armed guards poured in behind her, weapons raised. Their stun blasts ricocheted off the walls, but fizzled against her phased armor. She zigzagged through the corridor, past smashed conduits and sparking junctions, until she reached the service elevator. She slammed her forged ID card to the panel. The doors hissed shut and began their ascent. Sirens wailed below. Through the narrow viewport, she saw the lab's inner sanctum collapse in on itself, the ceiling caving under the force of the crystal's implosion. The elevator jolted as a secondary shockwave rippled upward. Metallic taste filled her mouth, dust and ozone. "Report!" She barked into her implant, voice clipped, static. Then, Commander Vikren's voice, calm but urgent. "Status?" A crystal is destroyed," Jarim panted, checking her gloves for damage. "Containment field breached, lab compromised. Human security converging on exit points. I'm patching a transmission to scrub all footage and logs." "Good. Retrieve any residue samples you can. Hyperspectral scans only. Leave no trace of our presence." Vikren's tone held no hint of relief. "Extraction ship in position. Prepare for rendezvous." The elevator dinged at the ground level. Jarim bolted out into a service corridor lit by flickering red emergency lights. Smoke curled through ventilation grates, carrying the acrid stench of burnt circuitry. She slipped through a maintenance panel and dropped into the subway tunnels below Old Town. A distant rumble announced the next mag-rail train. She sprinted along the tracks until the train roared past overhead, its magnetic field masking her biosignature. At the far tunnel mouth, she climbed a retractable ladder into an abandoned service alcove. There, she retrieved a small containment vial from her belt, a stabilizer for volatile quantum samples, and flicked it open. Using her nanite filament fingertips, she scooped microscopic fragments of crystal dust from her disrupted gloves. The dust shimmered inside the vial, fractal patterns swirling in suspension. She sealed it and pocketed the vial alongside the disruptor. Outside, the city's nightscape stretched vast and indifferent. Neon reflections danced on rain-slick pavement. Human patrol drones buzzed overhead, their searchlights sweeping the streets. Jarim melted into the crowd, her form cloaked by an optical camouflage field. Minutes later, deep in a back-alley docking bay, she boarded a nondescript freighter, cloaked in a field of temporal distortion. Inside the hold, the Dominion's retrieval team awaited, their visages hidden behind opaque masks. She handed over the vial. "Sample secured," she reported. The lead operative nodded. "We'll analyze it immediately. Prepare your debrief." Jarim removed her helmet, dark hair plastered to her forehead, and let out a long breath. In the dim light, she saw her reflection in the viewport, an alien spy on a human world, far from home and tethered to a secret that could ignite a war among the stars. As the freighter's engines pulsed and it slid away into the night sky, Jarim allowed herself one fleeting thought. The humans may have lost their crystal, but in their vaults, in their hidden labs, what else might they be hiding? The Dominion's probes had only scratched the surface, and if humanity's reckless ambition knew no bounds, the galaxy itself would tremble at their next discovery. With that, she turned to face the data crystal the retrieval team offered. Encrypted logs of Project Caldera's hidden research. Somewhere in those files lay the true key to Earth's dangerous secret, and Jarim would be the one to uncover it. The freighter's temporal drive hummed low as it slipped through the ion winds above Earth. In the cargo hold's low red glow, Jarim unsealed the encrypted data crystal handed to her by the retrieval team. Its surface rippled with cascading light, or was it a subtle pulse, as if alive? She placed it into her portable decryptor. A series of clicks echoed as the device spun up, projecting streams of alien script into the air. Commander Vikren's voice crackled through her neural implant. Status report. Jarim's fingers danced over the hollow interface. Vikren, I have the Caldera research logs. They detail more than quantum mineral fusion. Human scientists have been mining an asteroid belt near Jupiter's orbit for exotic isotopes. They call it Operation Prometheus. The goal, synthesize a controllable miniature event horizon. A stunned silence. A black hole generator, Vikren repeated, barely a whisper. Do they know what they're doing? Half of them believe it's the next stage of energy production. The other half, military contractors, see it as a battlefield weapon. One misplaced calculation, one moment's overreach, and they could collapse the event horizon containment. The result, a singularity right in Earth's backyard. Jarim felt her chest tighten. Throughout her mission, she'd known humans were daring and dangerous, but wielding singularity-level power bordered on suicidal. She tapped the interface, isolating the key project files. I'm transmitting everything to Dominion Command. They'll want to neutralize those asteroid operations before Earth destabilizes its own system. Agreed. After that, we must decide. Do we extract humanity from the Dominion's list of potential threats, or quarantine them until they learn restraint? The question hung heavy in the echoing metal hold. Jarim recalled the warmth in her chest. When she first stepped on Earth's soil, the awe she'd felt at human art, their poetry, and their stubborn resilience in the face of impossible odds. But she also remembered the crystal's destruction, the lethal potential rippling through its microfragments. Humans had almost unleashed something beyond reckoning. So far, she said quietly, they've survived every disaster they've engineered, but this could end more than a city or a planet. It could tear a hole in space-time itself. Vikren's tone softened. A rare moment of empathy from the stoic commander. You did well, Jarim. Your actions prevented a catastrophe. Once the Dominion intervenes, Earth will be under heavy observation. They'll be guided. A soft beep signaled the decryptor was finished. Jarim ejected the data shard, tucking it into her satchel. I've prepared a second report for Earth scientists, if they can be trusted with the truth. Maybe exposure will temper their ambition. Or incite rebellion, Vikren cautioned. Proceed carefully. Jarim nodded. In that moment, she realized her role had shifted. No longer merely an observer. She was now a mediator between two civilizations on the brink, charged with maintaining a fragile balance. As the freighter dove into the swirling auroras of Jupiter's magnetosphere for refueling, Jarim gazed out the viewport at the tiniest pinprick of blue in the distance, Earth, a world of bright ideas and perilous dreams, a world hiding secrets that could destroy everything. She took a steadying breath and prepared to send her final clandestine broadcast back to Earth's brightest minds, an encrypted warning cloaked in the anonymity of deep space. Let them decide whether to heed it, because in the vast theater of stars, every civilization was defined by its choices, and humanity's next choice would echo through the cosmos, either as a beacon of hope or a harbinger of annihilation.